सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सुखं नित्यं स्वप्रकाशं व्यापकं नाम रूपयोः अधिष्ठानं बुद्ध्यबोध्यं बुद्धैर्दृग्यत्तु निर्मलम् अपारं सर्ववेदान्तवेद्यं प्रत्यक्परं महा तदेवाहं न मत्तोऽन्यदिति मे निश्चिता मतिः। So we are seeing various details related to the Gnanam, Aham Brahma iti Gnanam. First question was that this knowledge takes place to whom? The answer was given, it is taking place to Chidabhasa. If it is to Chidabhasa, then will it not be a Mithya Gnanam? Because Chidabhasa is not Brahman. Aham Brahma, this Gnanam to Chidabhasa, will it not be a wrong statement, wrong cognition? For that answer was given that Aham Brahma, when that knowledge takes place, this Aham, if it is referring to Kutastha, then there is main, the primary non-difference is that Mukhya Abhedaha. Therefore it is not wrong. Aham Kutastha Sakshi Chaitanyam Brahma. If this is the understanding expressed by the statement Aham Brahma, then it is not wrong, because Aham Kutastha Chaitanyam am Brahma. It is a factual statement. And if Aham is focused on or conveying the Chidabhasaha, Aham Chidabhasaha Brahma, that also has got this factuality, that also is truth. Why? Because Aham Chidabhasa and Brahma have got Bhada Samanadhikaranya. So Badhayam Abhedaha and Mukhya Abhedaha. I, Kutastha Chaitanya and Brahma have got primary non-difference. And I, Chidabhasa and Brahma has got negation based non-difference. Non-difference is there both ways. Therefore, whatever you say Aham Brahma, but with understanding, then it is correct. When Chidabhasa you are saying and then you say Mukhya Samanadhikaranyam in your mind, I, Chidabhasa, I am primarily as Chidabhasa, I am one with Brahma, not correct. So, if you are understanding the meaning of the word Aham appropriately, and you are understanding the oneness of the meaning of Aham with Brahman appropriately, then Aham Brahman is correct. Therefore, it is not a Mithya Gnanam. Vishayataha or Vishaya Drishtya Mithyatvam of this Aham Brahma Gnanam is not there. Because that was the objection. Will it not be a wrong knowledge, false knowledge, when I say I am Brahma? Because I is Chidabhasa according to you, and Chidabhasa, how can it be one with Brahma? Answer is given, Chidabhasa also can be equated to Brahma. But with this understanding, Badhayam Samanadhikaranya means Chidabhasa has to lose his Abhasatvam and appreciate oneness with Brahman. Alright. Then in Aham Vritti, Kutastha Sakshi Chaitanyam also is contained, and also Chidabhasa is there. And this Aham Vritti has got both the components. Are they occurring simultaneously or sequentially? If sequentially, who comes first? that type of question is answered by the Acharya. That is what we were seeing. He asked, Kutastha bhasayoho ahamruttohu bhanam kim kramena bhavati tayoho yugapat pratiti jayate uta kala bhedena. So, whether both of them are cognized simultaneously or both of them are becoming evident one by one, kala bhedena, with the difference in time. For that, Guruji answered, Aham vrittau sakshi chidabhasayoho yugapad bhanam. Simultaneously, they are becoming evident. So he glorified that knowledge and then he answered, Sakshi abhasa ubhau api aham vrittau yugapyete. They are simultaneously becoming evident. Vedanta prakraneshu sarvatra abhasa iti shabdena antahkarana sahita chidabhasa eva grahya. He makes a note. Whenever we say chidabhasa, it should be understood as antahkarana sahita chidabhasa. When we say moonlight, moonlight is a borrowed light. The light borrowed by the moon. So moonlight will always imply the presence of moon. We cannot have moonlight without moon. And therefore, moonlight means what? The sunlight which is falling on the moon. So whenever we say moon, it definitely implies the presence of the moon. Without that moonlight, without the moon, moonlight word has got no meaning. Therefore, here also when we say chidabhasa, it always implies the antakarana sahita chidabhasa. Means pratibimba, reflection, always implies the presence of reflecting medium. So antakarana sahita chidabhasa eva grahyaha abhasa shabdena. And he gave one more note. Antakarana sahita chidabhasa sakshinaha vishayataya bhati. First of all, this aham, which is a combination of chidabhasa and this bimba chaitanyam, the kutastha chaitanyam. Both of them comprise this aham, which is pramata. So the knower referred to by the word aham has got both the components, chidabhasa and this bimba chaitanyam, original consciousness. And now, between them, what is the relationship? Between the world and aham, the relationship is aham pramata, I am the knower, the world is prameyam, the object of knowledge. But inside this aham also there is a division. First division is between this aham and idam. Aham is pramata, idam is prameya. Aham is the subject, idam is the object. But in that aham also, again there is subject-object division in there. And what is that? Antakarana sahita chidabhasaha sakshinaha vishayataya bhati. Chidabhasa, along with the antakaranam, bhati, appears as the object of sakshi. Here, this sentence is to be understood carefully. The way I, the knower, am knowing this pencil, in that manner sakshi is not knowing this chidabhasa. So sakshi will say, okay, today I have to see where chidabhasa is there or not, what is it doing. So sakshi is cognizing and decides and cognizing this chidabhasa. Like you decide to see the pencil, you decide to see the flower. Like that, this sakshi is not deciding and having some operation to illumine, to know this chidabhasa. Even though language is the same, like how ghataha vishayataya bhati, pramatuhu or pramatuhu ghataha vishayataya bhati. For pramata, the knower, this pot is shining as an object. Like that, chidabhasa is not shining as an object, even though we use the same language. So Chidabhasaha Sakshinaha Vishayataya Bhati. Chidabhasa along with the Antakarana appears as an object to Sakshi. What does it mean? Chidabhasa with Antakarana is always illumined by Sakshi. And in that also, really speaking, Antakarana alone is illumined by Sakshi. But Antakarana has got this borrowed consciousness. To convey that idea, we are saying that Chidabhasa is Vishayataya Bhati. Like we say, moonlight is shining as evident as an object of sunlight. Really speaking, what is object? The moon is the object. And the moon is receiving the sunlight, and that received sunlight, the light which is received by the moon or the light which is reflected by the moon is called moonlight. The sunlight which is reflected by the moon is called moonlight. Similarly, here Antakarana is in the place of the moon, and the light the light reflected by the moon is the example for Chidabhasa. So Chidabhasa is like the light reflected by the moon. Antakarana is like the moon, and Atma is like sunlight. So when we say that Chidabhasa is shining as the object, what we really mean is Chidabhasa is dependent upon this Sakshi to be evident. Chidabhasa is dependent upon Sakshi to be evident. That particular fact is presented by this language. What? Sakshinaha Vishayataya Bhati Chidabhasa. Like we say, for in the example, that moonlight shines as an object of sunlight. Moonlight shines as an object of sunlight, not literally, but moonlight to be evident, to come to our experience, it has to depend upon sunlight. That particular fact is presented in the language of moonlight shines as an object of sunlight. So similarly here, Antakarana Sahita Chidabhasaha Sakshinaha Vishayataya Bhati. So people have got a lot of confusion about that. So I am Sakshi, Swamiji, I Sakshi, I am illumining. It's not that you decide to illumine. Swamiji, I want to have Sakshi Bhava. See, I want to, Swamiji, witness the thoughts. Witness the thoughts is not a job really. You cannot witness the thought as an action. Because I am always witness, whether I know it or not. I, consciousness, am always witnessing the thoughts. Then what is the meaning of, so you witness your thoughts? Witness your thoughts means you identify yourself with this witness consciousness and not with the thought. That particular fact is presented by the suggestion, witness your thought. Thoughts are always witnessed by the witness. So really speaking, it is not a job, let me witness my thoughts. It's always, the thoughts are always witnessed. So you have got two dimensions. One is Chidabhasa dimension and other is the Sakshi dimension. And Chidabhasa includes Antakarana. So you have got Antakarana Sahita Chidabhasa dimension, or otherwise called Chidabhasa Sahita Antakarana dimension. One dimension. Other is Sakshi. Generally you are identifying with the thoughts. Your thought aspect or Chidabhasa Sahita Antakarana aspect, that you are identifying. Instead of that, you identify with your Sakshi aspect. That is called being Sakshi. Sakshi Bhava Rakho. Means you be Sakshi. It is not a matter of choice. You cannot be Sakshi. You always are Sakshi. But recognizing this fact consciously, I am Sakshi, is figuratively called Visakshi. So that particular thing we need to know, otherwise in the name of Sakshi Baba many confusions are there. Okay. So Sakshinaha Vishayataya Bhati Kim Antakrana Sahita Chidabhasaha. Whereas Sakshi tu Swayam Prakashataya Bhati. Whereas Sakshi is evident as self-effulgent, as self-evident. So regarding Swayam Prakash also people have the idea. Swayam Prakasha means Atma illumines itself. That's what people think, no? Swayam Prakasha means Atma illumines itself. That is not the idea. Atma illumines itself is not the meaning of Swayam Prakasha. Atma doesn't require anyone to illumine. That is called Swayam Prakasha. Atma is evident without any other source of light. That fact about Atma is called Swayam Prakasha Swarupa of Atma. These are the areas of confusions. Swayam Prakasha means I illumine myself. स्वामी जी कोई जरूरत नहीं, किसी का जरूरत नहीं, मैं अपने आप लाइट कर लेता हूँ. That is not Swayam Prakasha. Generally people think Swayam Prakasha means self-illumination. I illumine myself. You don't illumine yourself. You do not require any illuminator to be evident. That is called Swayam Prakasha. So Sakshi tu Swayam Prakashataya Bhati. So Sakshi is Swayam Prakasha means self-evident. There also one interesting is what is called topic is there. We say Sakshi is evident, self-evident. But evident to whom? Evident by whom is already answered. It doesn't require to be evident by anyone else. But Sakshi is evident to whom? Sakshi is evident to self. So is evident to what self? So Sakshi will be telling, I am self-evident. So Sakshi is evident to the combination of the Antakarana and Kutastha Chaitanya. And we can include Chidabhasa also. So Sakshi is evident to this combination of Chidabhasa Vishishta Antakarana and Kutastha Chaitanya. As to combination, it is evident. And since the light, the shining for being evident is coming from, is having the source in the form of this Chaitanyam, consciousness, which is called witness consciousness. Therefore, we are saying that consciousness is self-evident. So, consciousness requires Antakaranam for its manifestation. Consciousness does not require Antakaranam to exist or to be of the nature of shining. To be Chaitanyam, for Chaitanyam to be Chaitanyam, for Chaitanyam to be existent, it doesn't require anything. But for Chaitanyam to manifest as I am, it requires Antakaranam. Antakaranam requires consciousness for existence and shining both. Antakaranam requires this consciousness for shining also and existence also. Whereas consciousness does not require Antakaranam for its existence and shining, only for manifestation it is required. That is the relationship between Antakarana and Sakshi. So Sakshi tu Swayam Prakashataya Bhati. It is evident with its own light. That is what is meant is Swayam Prakashataya. Own light also is that approximate expression. Sakshi is evident without being illumined by anyone. That is called Sakshi being self-effulgent. So that is called Sakshi tu Swayam Prakashataya Bhati. Alright. Whereas, and also, Chidabhasa Sahita Antakarana Vrittya na Sakshi Vishayi Kriyate. Sakshi is not objectified by the Vritti of the Antakarana along with Chidabhasa. Sakshi is not objectified by Antakarana Vritti. Sakshi is not objectified by anyone. Sakshi Drigeva Natu Drishyate. In Drigdrishya Viveka, Sakshi Drigeva Natu Drishyate. Rupam Drishyam Lochanam Drik. So Drik, so Rupa means forms and colors is Drishyam. Lochanam Drik. Tad Drishyam Driktu Manasam. The eyes themselves are the Drishyam. The mind is the knower. Then Drishya Dhivruttayas Sakshi. And Dhivrutti, all the Antakarana Vrittis, they are also Drishyas. Sakshi Drigeva. Sakshi is only illuminator, na Drishyate. It is not objectified. So pure consciousness can never be experienced. That particular thing is a very important part which generally people neglect. हाँ स्वामी जी बहुत बार बोले आप तो एक ही चीज बार बार बोलते हैं. So same thing we are repeating, but this is missed. In spite of being told several times, this is missed, and people have still craze for experiencing pure consciousness. Like people say, I want pure ghee. So ये सब duplicate है. Pure ghee. 2000 हाँ कोई बात नहीं. No problem. Pure ghee, Swamiji. Value nowadays for pure everything, pure value is there. Pure this olive this one, olive oil, pure olive oil. Pure human being भी नहीं मिलते आजकल. Pure guru भी नहीं मिलते आजकल. Pure शिष्य भी नहीं मिलते हैं. So everything we want pure, no? So we want pure consciousness also. Pure consciousness. Swamiji, I want to experience pure consciousness. जो भी लगेगा बोल दो. Pure consciousness. So remember, this pure consciousness can never be objective. But Swamiji, in Samadhi we can experience. If you are talking about Samadhi, means Yogika Samadhi. There are two types of Samadhi. One is a Yogika Samadhi, other is a Vedantika Samadhi. In Yogika Samadhi, what is there? Thoughtlessness is there. Thoughtlessness means Sarva Chitta Vritti Nirodha. When thoughts are not there, means Antakaranam is resolved, then this Chidabhasa is not there. Chidabhasa is not available, especially in its Vyakta Rupam, and therefore the knowership itself is not there. Because for knowership, these three things are required: Antakarana, Chidabhasa, and original consciousness. So thoughts are not there, original consciousness is there, but there is no knower available. So in Yogika Nirvikalpaka Samadhi, where thoughtlessness is achieved, there the knower itself is not there. When knower is not there, how can be knowledge or experience can take place? When experiencer, knower or experiencer, which is consisting of Chidabhasa, Antakarana and pure consciousness, that is not there. Why? Because the other two components are not there. Pure consciousness is there in Samadhi also. But this knower, Chidabhasa and Antakaranam are resolved. Therefore, no knowledge can take place. So, in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, knowledge of pure consciousness or this experience of pure consciousness is not possible. Why? Experiencer is not there. So, you want to have experience of that pure consciousness where experiencer is resolved. Not possible. Then what about Swamiji, Vedantika Samadhi? In Vedantika Nirvikalpaka Samadhi, first of all, it is done by the person who has already done Shravana and Manana. Because Nirvikalpaka Samadhi is the mature state of Nididhyasana. Nididhyasanam alone, when it is mature, it is called Samadhi. And in Samadhi also, Savikalpaka, further mature become Nirvikalpaka. So this person already has got understanding of what consciousness is, so he doesn't have even expectation. But somebody, even though he doesn't have expectation, but he will get it done. Like you go to somebody's house, you don't have expectation of tea, but you get tea, coffee, etc. So similarly, if the person goes to Nirvikalpa's house, then he will get the experience. No. In fact, in Nirvikalpaka Samadhi of Vedanti, thoughts are there. What is the thought? Aham Brahmasmi. And Aham Brahmasmi is a cognition. That appreciation is there. Not that Idam Brahma. The content of the Samadhi is what? Aham Brahmasmi. I who am considered to be experiencer, but really the content of experience that content of the experiencer, that I, Sakshi Chaitanyam, am Brahma. That is the content of Samadhi. And therefore there is no question of experiencing Brahma. In Vedantika Nirvikalpaka Samadhi, expectation also is not there, because it is done by the person who has got full clarity and conviction about what Aham Brahmasmi means. Expectation is not there. And also the content of Nirvikalpaka Samadhi is I am Brahman and not Idam Brahman. And therefore there is no question of experiencing pure Brahman. Pure consciousness is always cognitive. You understand that I am free from this Chidabhasa and Antakarana with the help of Chidabhasa. That is the beauty. With the help of Chidabhasa and Antakaranam, you appreciate yourself to be free from Chidabhasa and Antakaranam. That is why Vedanta for some people becomes difficult. It is there, but you have to discount the presence. Like, sometimes these two people, they are together, but their relationship is broken. So even though they are together, but they discount the other person's presence. Swamiji, mentally I am alone only. I don't consider his or her presence. How the people do it? Similarly, you discount the presence of Chidabhasa while appreciating yourself to be Brahman. So with Chidabhasa, you appreciate yourself to be Brahman, which is free from Chidabhasa. Chidabhasa ko thoda kharab to lagega. So with the help of me, you are appreciating and discounting me. But what to do? That is how Chidabhasa is. Alright. It is something like you take coffee with the help of cup, but you don't drink cup. So with the help of cup only you drink. You do like this, still something is then a palm or something. The only thing possibility is that tea versa is and you do like something that generally doesn't happen. Anyway, so with the help of cup you drink tea, but you don't drink cup. So similarly, with the help of Chidabhasa, you appreciate what? I am Brahma, free from Chidabhasa. Okay. Alright, so that was said here. Na Sakshi Vishayi Kriyate. Achha, so up to this we had seen. Okay, now he gives the explanation of how the knowledge takes place, so that we understand the whole mechanism of the role of Sakshi Chidabhasa on. Okay. Ghatadi Bahya Padartha Jnanotpatti Kramaha tu Evam. The order of the rise of the knowledge of the external objects such as pot, etc. The order of the rise of the knowledge of the external objects such as pot, etc. Evam is in this manner. The order of the objective knowledge is in this manner. If we understand this, then we will be able to understand the difference between the Ghatadhanam and Brahmadhanam. That is also the purpose served. The Ghatadhanam and Brahmadhanam, up to a point there is some similarity, and after some point there is some dissimilarity. Okay, what is said here? How Ghatadi Jnanam takes place? See, we are having knowledge of so many things. Every day, thousands of things we are knowing. Not one, thousands. Every time you are walking, you are seeing different things. No, knowledge is taking place. You are having all the time camera. Picture you are taking. Really, and memory also is there. Sometimes picture is not taken well, so forgotten. Especially Sanskrit you are reading. Camera not working. All right. Camera working but not working well. Picture, yes, I read somebody three times I read. But memory card thoda kuch problem hai. Yeah. Indriyanam. Okay. Indriyanam ghatadi vishayehi saha संयोग दशायाम इंद्रिय द्वारा बहिर्निर्गतांतः करणम घटादि विषय समानाकारताम प्राप्नोति. This topic is discussed in Shastra very often. So whenever knowledge is to be explained, they explain like this. What he says, let us understand in simple words first. So when there is a pot, so according to our Shastra, when the rays of the eyes and the object, when they have contact, then through the eyes, the beam of antakarana, not the full antakarana doesn't come out. If full antakarana comes out, his body will be dead. So then no knowledge will happen. And therefore, it is like jelly. The one ball of jelly is there. From that little bit you stretch it. So like that, from this antakarana jelly, that beam comes out. Okay. And then that antakarana beam of antakarana assumes the form of the object. Like this object is ghata, then the antakarana which has gone out in the form of a beam, that assumes the form of this pot. So antakarana becomes ghatakara. So when antakarana assumes a form of some object, then antakarana is called vritti. That particular assumption of the form by the antakarana, that is called vritti. So vritti is what? The modification of antakarana having the shape of some object. Shape is a very approximate expression. It's not all the time shape. Sound doesn't have shape. Some attribute, assuming the form in keeping with the object. And then it is illumined, this antakarana vritti is formed now, katakara vritti is formed, and in that chidabhasa is there, so chidabhasa will illumine the object. And antakarana vritti has removed the ignorance, and chidabhasa is illumining the object. That idea is given here. Indriyanam katadi vishayi saha sanyoga dashayam. Sanyoga dashayam means in the state of contact. Contact of what? Indriyanam, of the organs. With what? Ghatadi vishayi saha. With the objects, pot, etc. So what has been said? In the state of the contact association of the organs with the objects. So when the organs are having the contact with the sense objects, that is the meaning of Indriyanam Ghatadi Vishayi Saha Sanyoga Dashayam. So in this state, when organs are in contact with the objects, and Indriya Dwara, in that state, Indriya Dwara, through the organ, Bahir Nirgatantah Karanam, the Antakaranam which has gone out, partially, not fully. Antakarana doesn't come out fully. If fully it comes out, then body will be dead. So Antakarana Bahir Nirgatanta, which has gone out, then Ghatadi Vishaya Samana Karatam Prapnoti. Antakaranam, the mind, Prapnoti, attains. What does it attain? Ghatadi Vishaya Samana Karata. Attains the form which is similar to the form of the objects. Antakarana, in simple words, assumes the form of the object. He has to put in a technical and grammatically accurate manner. Therefore, he has to say Ghatadi Vishaya Samana Karta. Ghatadi Vishayena Samanaha Akaraha Yasya Saha Ghatadi Vishaya Samana Karaha Tasya Bhava Ghatadi Samana Vishaya Karta. So the Antakaranam assumes the form which is in keeping with the form of the object. So Ghata is having this form, the Antakarana also will assume that form. Like a picture. How the object is, similarly the image in the film will be, image in the sensor will be formed and image in the film will be formed. So this Samana Karatam Prapnoti. Then he gives the example. Yatha, just as Ayasa Mrudava Nirmita Mushayam Nishikta Druta Tamradihi Vrusha Samana Karatam Bhajate. He gives the example. He says, when we want to make an idol, so first how it is done? First a mold is made. This is one method. There are so many methods. One is we make a mold. And in that mold will have some cavity. And in that, this tamra, means copper, which is molten. The molten copper is poured. And then the copper will assume the shape of the mold. Directly it cannot be done, and therefore it assumes the shape of the mold, which is the shape of the Vigraha, Vishnu, Shiva, whatever, Ganesha. So that is said here, Yatha, just as Ayasa. Ayasa means by steel, iron, not steel, iron. Mrudava, or by clay. Nirmita Mushayam. The Musha here, not monk, the rat is also called Musha. Musha means here, Musha is a Strilinga. In the mold which is made by iron or clay, Nishikta, poured, Druta Tamradi, the molten copper, etc. It can be copper, it can be silver, whatever. So, Druta Tamradi, Musha Samana Karatam Bhajate, assumes, Bhajate means assumes, attains the shape similar to the mold. So the molten copper assumes the form or the shape of the mold. Evam, similarly, Antakarana Vritti api, even the thought of the mode of the Antakarana, Ghatadi Samana Karatam Bhajate, attains the shape similar to the pot, etc. Iyancha vrittihi chaitanya bhasa sahita eva jayate. And this vritti, this thought modification is born along with chidabhasa alone, reflection of consciousness. Na abhasam vina udeti. The vritti never rises without chidabhasa. Whenever vritti is born, it is born along with chidabhasa. Why is it so? He explains. He says, Vrittihi Antakranasya Parinamaha. Because Vritti is the modification of the mind. The same thing is present. Why Vritti is Antakranasya Parinama? Because he says, Antakarana Parinamasya Vritti iti Sanya. Because Vritti is the name given to the Parinama of Antakarana. He said, so, is the dough, the modification of the dough, which is cooked very well, is called idli. Why? Because this is the sangha of idli. We cannot say anything more than that. He says, Antakarana Parinamasya Vritti iti sangha. The modification of Antakarana is having the name Vritti. So, Vritti is Antakarana Parinama. Why? Because the name of Vritti is used only for Antakarana Parinama. Why it is called idli? I read about idli history. Idli, originally it is called kedli, kedari. And you know where it came from? Indonesia. one history. There are food historian. I was very impressed to know. Food historian means they will have history of food items. Wow. कोई धंधा नहीं है. So food historian, they said that there were some kings in Indonesia. They were originally from India, and so when they used to come here for marriage, etc., they were used to the Indonesian some items. They used to bring some chefs from there, and they will make here idlis. So our Indian लोग कैसे कैसे बनाते हैं? How? And that's how he came to India. Original was Kerala. Just I am telling, when I was thinking, but Antakarana is a Prinama Vritti. So modification of that particular dough is idli. That's all. Therefore, what is idli? Modification of dough. That's how it is. Kerala is Kedari. What a nice name it was having. Kedari. What a nice name, you know. I really like the name. I think we should call it Kedari only. और कोई समझेंगे नहीं. So okay, अंतःकरणम ही सत्व गुण कार्यत्वा स्वच्छम. अच्छा, now he explains that how अंतःकरण वृत्ति will always have चिदाभासा. Why is it so? कोई special rights है क्या? So for that he explains that this is the reason why वृत्ति is always born with चिदाभासा. For that he starts from the beginning. और निश्चलदास जी का हैबिट है वो सब कुछ comprehensively explain everything comprehensively. कोई जल्दी नहीं, no hurry, आराम से. So he goes to fundamentals. He says अंतःकरणम ही सत्व गुण कार्यत्वा स्वच्छम. We have only asked him that why वृत्ति है चिदाभासा. He said मैं अंतःकरण से समझाता हूँ आपको. You ask him what is your name. I said, you know, there was one Ramlal. His son was Lakshmanlal. His son is the Devadatta. I asked him what is his name. He starts with grandfather. So similarly, he starts more fundamentally. What he says? Antakaranam hi sattva guna karyatvat swacham. Antakarana is being the product of sattva guna. In Tattva Bodha we have studied. Swacham is pure. So Antakarana is pure. Why? Because it is a product of sattva guna. Ataha, therefore, Tatra Chaitanya Bhasaha Jayate. Therefore, the reflection of consciousness is born in Antakarana. That is the difference. The pencil, this consciousness is there, but Antakarana is not there. Therefore, reflection of consciousness is not there. Whereas in this body, Antakaranam is there. And if Antakaranam is there, then reflection will be there. Like this mirror will reflect. This pencil will not reflect light the way mirror reflects. So here, Ataha Tatra Chaitanya Bhasaha Jayate. Ataha means Antakranasya Swachhatvat. Since Antakrana is pure, therefore Chidabhasa is born. And Tatha Eva Vrutehe api Swachantakarana Karyatvat Tatrapi Chaitanya Bhasaha Jayate. Similarly, Vritti, the thought also being the product of pure antakarana. Antakarana which is pure. Pure antakarana is not a good expression. Similarly, vritti also is a product of antakarana which is pure. Tatrapi, even there means vrutovapi, even in vritti, Chaitanya Bhasaha Jayate. This reflection of consciousness is born. So Karana has got the capacity to reflect. So Karya also will have capacity to reflect. And therefore, in Antakarana Vritti, Chaitanya Bhasaha Jayate. Utpadyamana sa Vrittihi Sabhasa Antakarana Deva Utpadyate. Therefore, the Vritti which is born, Vritti being that Vritti which is born, Sabhasa Antakarana Eva, along with the Chidabhasa alone, Utpadyate, it is born. It is born with the Chidabhasa alone. Like genetically, the baby is born, so it will have the genes of parents. So similarly, this Antakarana Vritti baby is a baby of Antakarana. Antakarana Vritti is a baby. Therefore, Antakarana can reflect. Baby also will reflect. Vritti also will reflect. Ataha api karanat. And because of that reason also, Vrittihi abhasa vishishta eva udeti. Therefore, also the Vritti, the Antakarana Vritti is born along with the Abhasa, along being endowed with avasa. Ataha api means what? Two ways. Api has got significance. Antakarana vritti itself you can understand as swacha. Therefore, it reflects Chidabhasa. Or, since it is the karya of the Swacha Antakarana, therefore it reflects Antakarana. Therefore, Sabhasa eva jayate. Alright. So, from this, what we understand? That when knowledge takes place, then the Antakarana vritti is born. And in that Antakarana vritti, Chidabhasa is there. And that Chidabhasa illumines the object. Antakarana removes the ignorance. Alright. And now that topic is going to tell that Antakarana vritti is removing this Ajnanam. Chidabhasa is reflecting as Chidabhasa is illuminating the object. That is going to tell in 202. That topic is Bahyartha Prakashe Vritti Chidabhasayo Upayoga. There he is going to tell. But in between is, because he is going to tell, since he is going to tell that Ajnanam on the object, Ajnanam which is covering the object is removed by Antakarana vritti. To tell that, first he has to tell that this Ajnanam belongs to what? As I told you that Nishchal Das always start with the 3-4 generations. So that this Ajnanam belongs to what? What is the basis, what is the adhara, the locus of this Ajnanam? So he goes more fundamentally. Main topic is what? That Antakarana vritti is born along with Chidabhasa, and then next topic is that Antakarana vritti removes ignorance, Chidabhasa illuminates the object. That is going to be told in 202. But in between, this Avarana Nivritti, removal of the veiling factor, that topic is going to be discussed. And therefore, what is this veiling factor? What is the ashraya, the support of this veiling factor? That he is discussing. This is a big sangati we have to give. Otherwise, Chaitanyameva Ajnanasya Ashrayaha Vishayascha. This is our Vedanta Siddhanta. One important Siddhanta is given. What? Ajnanasya Ashrayaha. Earlier also we have discussed this in the Khyati topic. The Ashraya, Vishaya was not discussed, but Ashraya. The support of Ajnanam and the object of Ajnanam is consciousness alone. Consciousness alone is the support, the locus of Ajnanam and the object of Ajnanam. It's a very interesting thing. Object and locus, both consciousness is there. That he explains. Ghatadihi Vishayaha Tamo Gunakaryatvat Swarupataha Jadaha. Tasmad Ajnanam Tatkaryam Avaranam Cha Jade Ghatadi Vishaya Asti Iti Ahu Kechana Tadidam Apataramaniyam. He is very poetic also. So he says Ghatadihi Vishaya, the object, pot, etc. Tamoguna Karyatvat, being the product of Tamoguna. See how it is Tamoguna Karya? This from Maya, this Tamogunatmika Maya alone, this Panchama Bhutas are born. And therefore, this Jada, the Gadadi Vishaya is Tamoguna Karya. Tamo Amsha, from Tamo Amsha alone, these Sula Mahabhutas are born. And therefore, Tamoguna Karyatvat, not all Sukma Mahabhutas. Sula Mahabhutas are born of this Tamoguna aspect of the Maya. Therefore, Tamoguna Karyatvat Swarupataha Jadaha. Since Ghatadi is the product of Tamoguna, therefore, Swarupataha, essentially, by nature it is inert. Tasmat, therefore, Ajnanam Tat Karyam Avaranam Cha. Therefore, ignorance and its job, its function. What is the function? Veiling. Ignorance and its function, veiling. Jade Ghatadi Vishaye Asti is there in the objects such as pot, etc., which is inert. Iti Ahu Kechana. This is what some people say. So we very seriously try to understand. And it is a wrong conclusion. So he is telling. So he says some people think like this. What? That Ghatadi is Jada and therefore Jade Jada Pravrutti. Matching, no? So they want to do matching. He says Ghata is Jada. Ajnanam also is Jada. So Ajnanam and its product, veiling, both of them should be where? In Jada Vishaya. So Jadatmaka Ajnanam, Tamo Rupa Ajnanam and Tamo Rupa Ajnana Karyam, Avaranam. Both of them should be where? Tamo Guna Karyam. Matching ho gaye. So Vishaya Asti. So by Ajnanam Tat Karyam Avaranam Cha, by that this Vishayatva and Ashrayatva both are talked about. Ajnanam Jade Ghatadi Asti means Ghatadi is the Ashraya. And Tat Karyam Avaranam Jade Ghatadi Vishaya Asti, this means Ghatadi is a Vishaya. So this Avarana, the Ashrayatva and Vishayatva of the is Ajnanam, Ajnana Ashrayatva and Ajnana Vishayatva, both of them are there in Jada Ghatadi. Iti Kechana, some people say, because everything is Tamo Rupa, Tamo Rupa. He says, Tadidam Apata Ramaniyam. This is very good in the first view, prima facie. So initially it will look very good. Why? Because matching is there. So Jada Gata is Jada, and in Jada Gata this Tamo Rupa Ajnanam is there. Its function is there. Everything looks matching. But matching sometimes is not good. So here, so it is like the white lime. White lime is very good to put on the chapati. Why? Chapati is also somewhat white and the lime also white. So lime we put on chapati and eat? No, we don't eat. Because matching is just matching, it doesn't become the criteria. So apata ramaniyam. Matching, everything we are matching mein to mar jate hai. Many people really are they're so particular about matching, in this room also. Some in the curtains, the rod should be matching. Oh, a problem. Curtain should match, curtain rod also should match. And one man was telling something, my wife will insist, he says our driver also should wear matching. Jocularly was telling Bharat. So matching बहुत होता है. It doesn't match here, so that is not proper. He said Tadidam Apata Ramaniyam. That is looking good. He said Vichara Drishtya. But when we analyze, Vichara Drishtya means from the standpoint of analysis. Means when analysis is done, however Chaitanya eva Ajnana Tat Prayukta Avarane Staha. When you analyze, then only in consciousness Ajnanam is there and Avaranam, the veiling is there. Chaitanyam alone is support for Ajnanam and Chaitanyam alone is veiled by Ajnanam. What is the ungrateful Ajnanam? Whoever supports him to that Chaitanyam alone, it covers. Alright, but Chaitanyam doesn't mind. Even though ignorance is so ungrateful, Chaitanyam gives support to Ajnanam and that Ajnanam will veil it. Like our Bhasmasura. So Bhasmasura got the boon from Shiva and he said, I want to strive on you. So that type of thing Ajnanam. Yeah, Chaitanyam doesn't mind. Why? Because it's Asanga. Chaitanya Drishti Avaranam Nasti. But if at all Avaranam we are talking from the Ajnana standpoint, then it is in Chaitanya. Chaitanya eva Ajnana Tat Prayukta. Tat Prayukta means caused by. See, ignorance and the veiling caused by ignorance, both of them are in consciousness alone. Natu Ghatadau Vishaye, and not in the objects such as pot, etc. Ajnanam Chaitanyameva Ashritya Tadeva Vishayi Karoti iti Vedanta Siddhantaha. Very clearly mentions. Ignorance, having resorted to consciousness alone, it objectifies consciousness alone. This is the Vedanta Siddhanta. This is the principle of Vedanta. And he says, how do you say this is the principle? Because Vruddhokte hai. Bade log keh gaye. So Vruddhokte means because of generally we in other local language Vruddha word, but Budhe log bolte aisa. So we Buddha is like a little derogatory. But in Sanskrit, Vruddha is a respectful word. So, iti Vruddhaha. So, means knowledgeable, senior people, learned people are said to be Vruddha, Vruddhoktehe. So, Vruddhoktehe means here it refers to Sankshepa Shariraka, the Sarvagnatma Muni has said. He is very fond of two, Vidyaranya Swami and Sarvagnatma Muni. So, he quotes this shloka also is quite popular. स्वामी पॉपुलर तो हमको पता नहीं, आश्रयत्व विषयत्व भागिनी निर्विभाग चितिरेव केवला पूर्व सिद्ध तमसो हि पश्चिमो नाश्रयो भवति नापि गोचरः इति वृद्धोक्ते. I popular because this I had heard when we were studying so early, 89, 90 we heard. That's why I am feeling it is quite popular. I have been hearing this again and again. That's why in my mind it is known as popular shloka. What is that? Nirvibhaga chitihi eva. The divisionless consciousness kevala, which is non-dual. So non-dual divisionless consciousness alone, ashrayatva vishayatva bhagini, is having. Bhagini has got the idea of having the status. What the status? Ashrayatva, being the support and being the object. Non-dual, divisionless consciousness alone is having the status of being the support and the object of what? Of this ignorance. So for ignorance, consciousness alone is the support and the object. And he gives the reason, because Purva Siddha Tamasaha Paschimaha Ashrayaha Na Bhavati Napi Gocharaha. He gives the reason, because Tamasaha, this Ajnanam, which is Purva Siddha, which is established earlier compared to the objects. Paschima, which is Paschima means the later on, the later one. The later one, na ashrayo bhavati, cannot become the support of the ignorance which is established earlier. That which is established earlier cannot be supported by what is going to come later. This pencil can be supported by the table when table is there before. It is not that pencil can have support of the table which came later. Not possible. So he says Purva Siddha Tamasaha Paschimaha. Paschima means not western ear. Paschima means later one. The later one cannot become the support of the ignorance which is established earlier. Napi Gocharaha cannot become even the object of what is established earlier. Napi Gocharaha. Because Purva Siddha Tamasa, ignorance will have some object. That object also has to be there with it. And therefore, the later one cannot be the support or the object of what has been established earlier. Iti vruddhoktehe. Since this statement of the learned people is there, therefore, Agdanam Chaitanyam eva ashritya tadeva vishaye karoti iti Vedanta Siddhantaha. It we saw. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri